So having said this, let me give the floor to the class governor, Governor Ezimwa.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening or good day, depending on your location. I'm very, very glad to be on this training session today. Glad to see so many enthusiastic people here. So I would like to say thank you to today's trainer for your time. Let me just take a moment to just say a few things. First, we know that this training session has officially begun. So I want to ensure each and every one of us to be very serious and will be focused too. Please, I also want to plead to everybody to mute their mic while the training section is on, so as to avoid any form of distractions. If you have any question during this session, or if you have anything to say, you can just use the raise hand option on your screen. I believe our host will continue, and they will give you the floor. And for a smooth flow of this training, I kindly request that we note down our questions and save them for the questions and answer section. I believe at the end of the training, we'll be given the room to ask our questions, and our trainer would address them accordingly. Thank you very much, and let's enjoy this training session.
Thank you very much, Governor
Ezimwa Odisa.
Governor Ezimwa, exactly. Thank you very much for setting the pace. So let me grant a few seconds to those who are having difficulty. Zoom user, kindly rename yourself. Now, failure to rename yourself, we can attribute a name to you. So this is what we do. I can attribute a name to those who refuse to or who cannot rename themselves. Okay. So those who can, please, you can rename yourself. Those who leave their microphone on, kindly mute yourself so as to avoid disturbing the classroom. Thank you very much. We have 2 Zoom users. So let me help you rename yourself before we proceed. So I can rename you John. So we have the second Zoom user. Okay, rename you Annette. Okay. Having said this, we want to start with the very first and the fundamental one. As you are preparing to embark on the industry of safety, security, sustainability, and health, you cannot bypass the very first thing, the pillar, the fundamental teaching, or if you like, the helpful teaching. Tonight, we have a privilege and honor to bring among you, or for your benefit, one of our best experts in the field. He have acquired a lot, and his expertise goes beyond what you can imagine. Also, in his leadership, he have shown the ability to conduct, to lead, to train all over the world. And we have been privileged to lead this association, that is a professional body in Africa Global.
Yeah, Mr. Leon, we cannot hear you. I guess your mic is...
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I was saying that as we are welcoming you to take the lead for tonight's class, I want to urge the newcomer that being a formal class, you want to add to the beauty of this class by behaving well, for example, by muting our microphone, by taking good notes. So as I said earlier, I don't know if you hear me that part. Our trainer tonight is one of the best we have among us, expert in that matter, and his expertise has gone beyond an ordinary country. Currently, he's the director in Africa and Middle East. He's a leader, and under his leadership, we have achieved many things so far. Many positive results have been credited to his name. Also, he's a field engineer in that matter. Therefore, students, you will be privileged to listen to one of our best trainers in the person of Dr. Emmanuel Uwalaka, that will be training the class live from UK. So on this, Dr. Uwalaka, we hand over the class to you. You are welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leon, for this wonderful introduction. And I believe very clearly that we're here for serious business, as you have rightly stated. And in that direction, we are here to, have add one or two knowledge to what we have already learned or what we already know. Because safety is a continuous process, and safety is a lifetime knowledge. It's not a kind of knowledge you will say, okay, I don't want to proceed with it any longer, because so far you are alive, you need to proceed to learn the best way to live safely, as the case may be. So thank you so much for bringing me on board. I'm always so delighted, because even as a civil engineer, as a professional in that field, safety is another field that I'm so much passionate about. 24 hours, year in, year out. I always love to get involved, to contribute to saving lives, to contribute to people's knowledge, to contribute to solutions that helps to keep sustainability of people's health and also keeping them alive. So, and I believe that is my experience I want to share here today. Actually, I'm not very good in training with slides and all that, but I love teaching with key subject matters, the key points. But notwithstanding, I'm going to try to show some of the slides which we already have. The governor himself. I will want you to note your primary assignment is to mute people and is to take people to the waiting room. Two things. Either you mute them, and if they prove stubborn, you move them to waiting room and leave them there for 30 minutes. 15-30 minutes within your discretion, no problem. So that if they come back to the platform, they will be able to behave themselves. Then, if you are removed out of the network, that means you miss today's class totally. They put you on the waiting room, bring you back, you continue to make noise, then they will remove you from the platform totally. That means you miss today's class. Tomorrow, you can join back, as the case may be. That is what that means. So let's behave ourselves, because safety is all about instructions and order. Safety is all about instructions and order. And it's a very difficult situation, especially for developing countries, my brothers, my sisters from Africa. Sometimes it's very difficult to obey instructions. It's very difficult to follow instructions. It's very difficult to read instructions. So these are the 50% of the problem the continent is suffering from. But I guess the future generation, as we are all trying to have a mental shift, will be able to, have a better generation coming from where we are coming from. We have executives here, starting with Dr. Leon Lee. Thank you so much for being part of this great masterclass series from his session. I also want to thank our other executives in Essential, in the person of S. Williams, Engineer Richmond, Engineer Augustine Utua from Cameroon, and also other leaders that are also going to be here, Mr. Sami from Ghana, and many of them that are going to be joining this class. I bring you greetings from the United Kingdom, and other executives here in the UK. We bring you greetings, and we appreciate your inputs and contributions every day. For the candidates from various industries, safety managers, safety supervisors present in this training today, possibly they are here to get more knowledge, to get more certifications. You are highly welcome, and I'll be interacting us with you so that we can all share knowledge further. We have to learn and relearn. Then for the students, these are the scholarship students, I consider you people as children in the industry. So, when children are in the house, Ken is always by the side. Ken is always by the side. And the reason for that is because sometimes they can make mistakes, and sometimes, they can also behave themselves. That's why they are children, because they fear the Ken more than their parents. They are afraid of the Ken than their daddy and mommy. So that is always a situation. So for you guys, I would say you should be listen very attentively to learn from a pool of knowledge, and have your pen and paper to judge everything coming to your ears, because you may not find them in the book. So the earlier you write them is better for you, and also ask questions. And I believe that you people are going to be the best superstar in this industry, as we are hoping as a professional body that we are building a greater future generation who will be more serious in health and safety, who will contribute massively in various industries. And I believe that I'm in order to train you guys at this point. So today, we are going to be looking at the foundation, as Dr. Lee rightly said, foundation in occupational safety and health. So, if you believe, or if you are in order with your own conviction that this course is going to be a positive impact to you and to your career, and you are here for a serious business, you are not here to listen to grammars, you are here to learn and to take notes and to drive the course of this industry as a game changer. Can you put on the chat box 111, please? Can you put on the chat box 111? Let me be sure, because I'm serious. Seated here, I want to be sure I'm here with serious people who are also ready, serious as I am, so that let it not be that I'm more serious than those who are coming to learn. Then there will be a problem. Yes. It's too waiting. When you have a lover and the love is not mutual, one love one another than other, we agree together that it's going to be a problem. I can see so many chats here. That means I have more greater followers and more serious people than I am. Thank you. So the topic, foundation in occupational safety and health, is primary, objective, and key subject matter when it comes to life and death. When it comes to life and death. Safety is not a profession. Safety is not an education certification. Safety is a lifestyle. Safety is a lifestyle. Can you put on the chat box, safety is a lifestyle? It is not a certification. It is not an education, a qualification, and whatsoever you may think it is. But safety is a lifestyle. Can you write? Because we are here to learn. Put on the chat box. You are using laptop, you are using phone, no problem. Anyone you are using, provided you have a chat, you have to be communicating. Safety is a lifestyle. Thank you. So, having understood that safety is a lifestyle, therefore, there is need for us to lay proper foundation of principles, rules and order, and principles, procedures, based on whatever we find ourselves doing at home, in the industry, on the roads, in the markets, even while sleeping. Yes. Even when you sleep, you don't sleep on a very smooth surface. You wake up with pains. So, what is the remedy? Sleep on a better platform and ensure your phone is good. That is the cure. You don't need medicine for it. You don't need to buy paracetamol or go and sleep. When you have the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, you wake up from sleep, you may find out that you will start rushing to hospital to tell the doctor, you just wake up, that this part of your body is paining you. And this happens every morning. And after 1 hour, it stops. And this has been happening for 1 month, 2 months. Do you get? But because you lack safety knowledge, you lack the foundation, prerequisite of life, which is safety, you will run to physician to find solution. But the solution is you having the knowledge to discover that because you are relying on this faulty foam, bent foam, collapsed foam, that's why you have pains. So what is the solution? It is to buy a new better foam, or you said, okay, you won't use this foam. It's better you sleep on the mat. Then, over time, you find out that no more pain again. Because when you lie on the foam, some part of your body sink in, some floats, depending on the galloping, the sloping of the foam you lie on. Do you I don't know if I'm making sense. If you have had this experience before, can you put on the chat box, yes? That's if you have had the experience. Me, I have had the experience before, so I understand what I'm talking about. So we are going to learn safety with you understanding what safety is in your fingertips. It's not a rocket science. It's just a knowledge you don't have. Do you get? It's just the knowledge you don't have. It's not a safety HAC you see. It's not a rocket science. And that is why in the developed world, you will hear when they will say safety is for everyone. But in Africa, in Asia, some developing countries, they made it to be understood that it's only when you are climbing ladder, when you are in a construction site, when you are in oil and gas, that you have to now go and learn safety. It's very, I don't know the best word to use, destructive also. It's also killing. But it's normal, it's part of life, because in Quran, in the Bible, they say my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So you don't succeed or fail because of the paper you have. You succeed or fail because of the intelligence you have or the knowledge you have. Or you have or you don't have. Do you understand? The knowledge you have or you don't have. That is the subject of your success in life. Not necessarily the school you went to, the university you went to. You schooled in Cambridge, you schooled in somewhere in Ghana, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, in one village school. It doesn't really necessarily matter. What matters is the knowledge you have, and that is the power. And that is why you hear knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. It's not grammar, it's our realities. So we are going to be looking at scenarios that will help you understand this foundation today. And I'm going to do that in 4 units. What does health and safety at work really means? How can work affect your health? How can work affect your safety? What is the cause of accident and illness at work? So in this very hierarchy, we are going to be looking at it. I know that many of you might have read this manual as we guided you to read. And if you read the manual, can you put on the chat box, yes? I know it's only few that read. We expected to have a lot of people on this class today, but I know it's only few. Yes, some few, right? Some are busy with work. No problem. No problem. So let's do the needful, as the case may be. So we said many people are killed or severely injured while carrying out their day-to-day work activities. Why? Because they lack the knowledge. Not because they are civil engineers, not because they read banking and finance, not because they are safety officers, just because they lack the knowledge. That is why they are killed. That is why they're injured while doing their day-to-day activities. It's simple. It's just a very simple logic. Do you get? So, in the other way around, there are well-established rules and order, procedures, tested, trusted, you can follow. And that is what we are going to discuss today. And if you follow it, it's going to help you eradicate unnecessary risk, manage your personal safety and your well-being, help you manage safety of others around you. Do you get? So safety is like a driver driving others to a destination. And you agree with me, when you are at home or at workplace, you are working, you are not just going to be safety conscious of yourself alone. No, you are going to be safety conscious of yourself and others passing within the corridor of your work and others you are working with. So when you are a driver in a vehicle, they say be careful, follow the speed limit, don't overspeed. It is not just because of your own life, it's because of the other life with you. Yes, because of other lives with you. Because if accident happens, it will only affect who is the principal subject or the principal error taker or the principal person who didn't want to follow the rules and order. Do you get? It's not going to affect only, it will affect others on that platform. It will affect others on that platform. So, and in some cases, you will see people may not escape the dangerous decision of the driver. A lot of people may die in the process. A lot of people may be injured. Why? Decision taken by the driver. What was the decision? Instead of him to slow to pass the hold up or the gallop, he thinks or he believes that he can maneuver it without any tires of this four vehicle digging inside the hold up. But because safety is intellectual, safety is brain work, he did not calculate well. So the fourth tire at the back, the two escaped, but the other two at the back didn't escape. So one have to dig into the hole and the car somersaulted. So with this scenario I gave you, in your own understanding, what is the real cause of the accident? One, the driver's brain did not calculate well. That is multiple question I'm giving you now. That is one. Two, the back tire did not escape the hole. Three, the driver took totally a wrong step by driving the car. Because if he knew that that accident will happen that day, he should have preferred to stay at home. But he may think that day is a bad day, so he thinks he shouldn't have drove that car that day. Within this three hierarchy, what is the cause of the accident? I got to hear my story. So, what is the cause of the accident? Somebody said decision making led to other occurrence. Somebody said the driver did not calculate well. Somebody said, yes. Go ahead if you get, or let me have your assumption. I gave you options. Somebody said lack of safety precaution. Yes. Somebody said wrong initiative by the driver. Somebody said lack of focus. Somebody said driving the car that day as a whole. Somebody said driver is not safety conscious. Okay, fine. Let me stop there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Within the little explanation, the answer to that question is driving the car that whole day. No. The answer is not also the driver, okay. Other things you guys said is good. You tried to an extent. But listen, safety is not an assumption. Safety is, when I say right, that means it's a very strong subject matter and you can't find it in any book. So I'm speaking out of experience. And when you are discussing with experts in the field, you use those terms, they know you know what you're saying. Safety is not an assumption. And safety, I want you to also write, safety is a brainwork. Safety is a brainwork. I want to write on the chat box, safety is a brainwork. Yes. So, having understood that, you need to now understand safety is a brainwork because that is the principal matter. If that driver have calculated where that the 4 tires will cross that hole, there shouldn't have been any accident. There shouldn't have been any accident. There won't be any accident. There won't be any accident. But because he assumed, the driver just assumed that this hole I'm seeing afar, I can cross it. The front one crossed, the back one crossed, but the left back tire entered the ditch. And that is the somersault of the vehicle. And that was the result of the accident. That's why I say safety is not an assumption, and safety is a brainwork, as I said earlier. Fine. Going forward to the question, the manual, actually, going forward to the manual, we want to look at the foundation of some of the principal terms. What are these terms? Let's look at some of them. You need to study it. You have the book with you, so you need to study it. Very important. One, control measures. When you hear control measures, what is it? Two, safety, freedom from danger. I will come to that because that is the primary foundations. Health, a state of total physical balance. Well, in the context of health and safety, the promotion of employees, well-being, environmental, occupational health, risk, hazard, a source of danger, well-being, workplace. These factors or these words are very important key terms you must study very well and you must understand. Very, very important. It will you a journey of this industry.
It seems that the network is
My network is going off and on, yeah. But I'm here. Don't worry. I noticed my network is going off and on. Okay. Sorry for that. Let's hope that everything gets well because this is a very critical moment for us. Very, very critical moment. So, as I was saying initially, talking about health, when you hear health in health and safety, what goes your mind? If I ask that question now, some people will say, okay, hospital. Some people will say, okay, sick person. Some people will say, okay, somebody need to, have treatment, to receive treatment, health. Okay. In health and safety, when you hear the word health, we say health. It's not none of such. And the World Health Organization defines it as what? A complete physical, mental, and social well-being. We may not still understand it. I will break it down. Health is what? Total mental and physical social well-being. Right? That means at every point in time, your brain, your mental status need to be stable. It does have to be up and on. It have to be stable. You need to be all right. You need to be okay. In the developed world now, the world is now concerned even with ordinary headache at workplace. The world is also very concerned with issues of stress at workplace. Do you get? And these are the issues of mental health. These are the issues of health at workplace. And these are the channels by which accident also occurs. These are the principles or the ways, the gateways by which incidents, errors, mistakes take place. These are the gateways. Why? Because your mental status is not stable. You are not all right. Before I also proceed, I want to welcome the Queen of Safety in Europe, the personal S. Williams, right here in this meeting, you are welcome. And other team, which I have not seen. My eyes is on the slide, and my brain is calculating. So you are welcome. So that is it. You understand. From my experience from the developing world to a developed world, I will share with you. I'm coming from an environment where somebody will tell you, I can drive. Those days when I was in Nigeria, I have a driver. When I was recruiting a driver, I told him, you can drive. He said, yes, I can drive. How many years? 7 years. Okay, fine. I'm going to give you key, then you can drive. Have you driven Jeep before? He said, yes. Who? My uncle's son. The one you have been driving before now, what kind of car? He said, small cars. Okay, fine. Do you think you can drive this Jeep? He said, of course. You have driven Jeeps before. It's not a problem. You have been driving since 7 years. I said, okay, fine. Come up on Saturday. Let's do test run. I gave him key. I sat in front, not at the back. In front. Can you move? He moved. Then, the way he was braking, keep braking. I said, is everything okay? He said, yes. That is like the seat is not balanced. I said, park. Pull up. He pulled up by the side. I said, set up yourself well, please. This is now your car. You are to be using this car to drive me, isn't it? He said, yes. Sit it up very well. And anyhow you set it now, come tomorrow morning, Monday, or wherever, you are the one to be. That's the office. Nobody will reset it. Set it as you want and continue the test run. Then he also now set up, we move. He keep braking, and I noticed he also started sweating in the AC vehicle. Then I noticed something, the way he was braking. If I hire this guy, then if I survive 3 months with him, I have to give Thanksgiving. I didn't tell him, but so many things was going on in my mind. Then, in the process, I said, the way you are braking, I'm not comfortable with it. He said, it's because it's a new, this kind of car, that Jeep is. I said, no problem. Let's continue. Now, the summary of the whole story is that this fellow, he tried to just give himself unnecessary mental stress and mental headache and sickness, because within sweating in an AC car, you should already know that if he continues that way, and if also allow him, is a high risk on my own side, meaning I'm ready to go and leave the earth from my own calculation as a safety person. Then on his own side, he is not also safe. He will start having mental problems. He can start hitting people because he has been carried to a height he's not comfortable with. Because if you have been driving such a car, you claim 7 years, you shouldn't be worried. You shouldn't be in panic. Your senses should be stable. Do you get? These are the issues. Dying. Let me also tell you, this have happened in a public vehicle. In Nigeria, there is one transport vehicle. I will mention the name, because if I don't mention the name, you mean no, because 97% of transporters in Nigeria, which the place I know very well. In Ghana, I have traveled from Takoradi to Accra over time by road and things like that. But in Nigeria, this transporter is one of the good transport system. It's called God is Good. I use them if I'm going by road most times. At the time I was following them, I noticed the restlessness of that driver that particular day. Along the way, I have to stop and ask them problem. So there are two problems here. This driver have mental issues, is not stable. The vehicle he's also using is not stable. By the time that vehicle broke down 2 times, I knew getting to Lagos is a prayer that God may not answer too quick. Because sometimes we pray some prayer God will not answer. Some things we don't seem to understand. So I have to stop and use my brain accordingly. So these stories I'm giving you is to understand the safety decision making and safety arithmetic within the calculations, within the equations. So in safety, when you talk of health, you need to check the mental status of the person you are dealing with. You need to check with the 2 stories I have given you. You will now understand what health means in health and safety. When you are given a job, you are under stress, then your health is at risk. That is why now, even as I'm talking to you, I don't like giving jobs to people if you don't know the job well. Because if you don't know the job well, you give yourself stress, you give other people stress. Do you get? So these are how it works. The World Health Organization said, complete physically, you should be okay. You should be smiling, not. Do you get? Mentally, you should be okay, not forgetting what you have read or what you have been taught. Because these are stress, these are sources of stress. Do you get? So the provision of things such as ventilations, lighting also affect your health. When you are asked to be in an office, there is not enough lighting, drafting proposals, and you don't have good lighting, then your health is at risk. It is not only when you are now broken down, you are now totally sick, and you will now know that you are sick, that your health is at risk. No. You need to take some precautionary measures to measure your engagement, your interactions between your work and yourself, between your environment and your health. Do you get? Someone told me this time ago, a few days ago, he said, I exposed myself while I go home in a rain. I caught cold. So do you see that kind of scenario now? Now, while going home, you notice rain is about to fall. Then in your class, I noticed I was off. So I was talking about rain initially. Yes. If you can hear me now, can you put on the chat box? I hear. Can you put on the chat box? I hear. Okay, thank you. Okay, I will still rewind back to an extent so that you connect from where you stopped. So what I was saying, Someone was saying he was cutting rain, right? And he got cold. So I was giving a narration. These are part of health, because you should know if you expose yourself in the rain, you're going to get cold. You should know the length by which that rain should start. You shouldn't get to the rain. You say, oh, I don't know that the rain is going to start. I don't know it's going to be too heavy. But your eyes is there, and your nose, your ear, your sense of organs are there to examine. Yes. Safety is not an assumption. You have to make, to an extent, 95% accuracy. Not an assumption, 95% assumption, which is almost distinction. That means your judgment is right. Your judgment being wrong means you lack the knowledge. You lack the knowledge. You are a safety officer. Somebody is not telling you, please, this my shoe is always paining me, or maybe it's not fitting me, or maybe I got an injury, please, and it's because of this my shoe. And you can't just say, okay, please just look into it. You need to examine and ascertain the reason for every error. Do you get? So you need to examine and ascertain the reason for every error. You don't just welcome anything. You don't just accept anything. As safety people, you are a thorough person. You don't just accept anything. I can't just accept anything. Those in business with me, they know that. Yeah. You need to tell me yes or no, or you need to give me a correct answer. You need to tell me. Sometimes people tell you, okay, today we'll do this. Today is not a time, and today is not a day. What time? By 2 p.m. we are doing this. We know we are doing this. By 3 p.m. we are here. We know we are. Don't just say, let's meet today. Meet where? On the air? So you must have to understand, have to, carry out your questions, examine your health, examine your environment, examine your colleagues, ascertain what can happen and what cannot happen. That's what I'm saying. That is health. Do you get? That is what health in safety is all about. You are in the workplace. The toilet is always. Everybody is using the toilet. When you use the toilet, come out. Everybody close nose, use the toilet, come out. So who is going to clean the toilet? Who is going to make it hygiene for everyone? Somebody. That decision have to be designed. The toilet can't keep itself clean. The house cannot keep itself clean. Somebody have to keep it clean. A plan, a procedure have to be designed. Do you get? That is what I'm talking about, health. Nobody's keeping it clean. You use the toilet, you use it 1 month, 2 months, then you said, I'm sick. Are you sick? Everybody for month sick. Every month somebody's sick. You have to pray seriously in the mosque. You have to pray seriously in the church. Those in the church have to add fasting. Those in they must have fasting from the toilet. They use 7 times in a week. You stay in your home only 2 times in a week, and 7 times or 5 days in a week. So where do you stay more? Out of the whole week, home or office? Can you put on the chat? Home or office? Where do you stay more? Home or office? Yes. It's office. Yes. So that office have to be given more priority. We have what we call psychosocial well-being, psychological well-being. These have to relate with hazards between co-workers. And that is why in safety, we have what we call workplace violence. Workplace violence. Sometimes workplace violence in the workplace doesn't mean when you are fighting, you hold my cloth, I hold your cloth. No. Workplace violence, most cases in the workplace, you see 2 colleagues, they don't pass the law. You follow here, he follows here. Okay, they tell you that director is calling you, that John is in director's office. You enter the office. You wait until John leaves before you go and answer director. I don't know if workplace violence. I was talking about workplace violence. So if you have experienced such before, where you see colleagues, they don't talk to themselves. They don't fight too. They don't fight. But for 3-4 months, they don't talk to each other. The same office, they resume the same time clothes, but they don't talk to each other. It's a mental, it's a psychological issue. That is why in the workplace, you need to build a better work environment, a better working team. I love when I work with people, we are floating together, we are happy together, we share things together, we share ideas together. You are happy. Reason because your colleagues are your closest brothers and sisters. Because your brothers and sisters, sometimes in a year, you only see them once. Sometimes in the whole year, you have not seen some of them. So who are you seeing every day? Who are you seeing more 8 hours, more 12 hours out of 24 hours? Is your co-workers. I don't know if I'm making sense or I'm the only one experiencing it. If I'm making sense, can you write, you make sense? Because they are the people you see more. And when you don't keep a healthy psychosocial well-being, characters, behaviors, working conditions, you are the one to suffer it. Because you are not playing happy. You are not stressed up because of the worker, because of your colleagues, because of your boss, so it's a problem. So the best way is the way to work around it, find solution to it, because it affects your health, With all I have explained so far on health now, did we understand the subject matter health in health and safety, please? If you are responding in my class, it have to be through the chat, no voice. Thank you. Thank you. So many are really putting the right stuff. No, I can't come again. If you come late, you have to go and read your book the more. Somebody said come again. Where do I come from? So, and in a situation where the network also having issue because of my location where I am now, then it's a problem to come again. So it's a risk. The risk is high to come again. So what you do, I pray the technical team release the recording version and you'll be able to listen over and over again. Thank you so much you got my point now on the subject matter health. So to help you in this health matter, can you put a smiling or laughing emojis to help you, and also smile, not the emoji, smile. In the UK, I was telling somebody that majority of the British guys here, the European people, when they smile, even when they are sending you to jail, if you watch their judges in the court cases, even when they send you to jail, the British and the European, they will be smiling. They say, you have the jail today, you just have 2 hours, 2 days, 5 years, you just have. They will just be smiling. But the point is that they are just making themselves happy. But the other way around, somebody is crying, and in this case, that is the environment you find yourself. But just be real. Always smile and make yourself happy, okay? So, going to the subject matter, which is what? Safety. And in safety, we said is freedom from harm. We said is freedom from harm, right? Fine. Safety means freedom from, and the book said freedom from danger. Yes, we can say freedom from danger. Okay, fine. Freedom from danger. So when you hear freedom from danger, what does it mean? Does it mean, okay, because fire is danger, we are not going to cook any longer? Okay, gas is dangerous, we are not going to use gas any longer. Okay, you hear that this machine is dangerous, that means, please, we need to remove this machine out of the way. No, that is not what it means. That is not what it means. If you can see my slide, I am back now. My location is not a very good one. Yeah, my location is not a very good one. I noticed this. Yes, somebody said the Western world is not better. Of course, there is no better place on the earth. The only better place is in heaven. For those who want to go to heaven, when you go to heaven, to the other world behind, that is where everything is better. There is peace there. There is no trouble. There is no disturbance. For here, Europe is not better. There are bushes everywhere, even in Europe, even in UK. Yes, as Williams will bear me witness, including Belgium, Europe. There are bushes. There are only that the bushes there, they use it for better things. There are mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are very friendly. It doesn't transmit any disease. It doesn't bite. There is no malaria in UK. There is no rats. Even if you see rats, they behave themselves. They don't enter your house. So that is where the difference is in Africa. But in Africa, you see a rat, it will start challenging you in your own house, even in your bedroom. You lie, it will lie. So that's the two different. If you hear me, say I hear. Yeah. Yeah, you hear. So that is just it. Thank you. So going forward from what I'm saying, freedom from danger means putting measures in place in the midst of the hazards, being in control in the environment, in a hazardous environment, in a dangerous equipment. Now, how do you achieve this? How do you achieve it? One, by putting proper measures in place. What are the proper measures? Let me tell you when we talk of hazards, we talk of what we call myths. Myths. And myths, I said, I'm telling you now, is a means by which hazards are introduced in every work environment. Myths is a category of hazards by which hazards are introduced in work environments. And the myths I mean is M for monkey, M for materials, that is the full meaning, M for materials, E for equipment, another E for environment, and P for people, and S for system. Materials, equipment, environment, people, system. You may not find this in your book, take note. But better you learn it and write them accordingly. So, this is a means by which hazards are introduced. Now, materials. Every work environment are controlled by one material or the other. Raw materials. You can call it raw materials they are using for manufacturing. Even at home, you want to wash things. You have materials. You have your detergents. You have your soap. You have your chemicals. You have your machines. These are materials. There are materials you use to do a job. Those material substances, these are materials. Tools. Now, those things that can constitute a hazard in that work environment. You are going to use equipment to control those materials. Even in construction, there are materials, there are chippings, there are sand, there are these are materials. You can dump those materials in a way it will cause accident, it will cause hazard, it will affect the public, it will affect people. Are you getting my point now? So, you need to now keep those materials in a safe way, in the way it will not constitute any danger, any threat, any hazard to people or to yourself working in that environment. That is how you design it. And that is why I told you before, safety is what? Brain work. Safety is what? Brain work. Because you use your brain to design and put those things in order in the way it will not affect human beings. The next one is equipment. The equipment, you need the right equipment to control those materials. You also need the right environment. You need the right environment to put the materials and to put the equipment. You can't put materials, for example, in Europe or even America, Canada. If you are building a house, you cannot be causing obstruction to the public. You can't try it. You can't try it. The sand, the machines, everything you are using must be controlled in order not to affect somebody passing, bicycles, pedestrians, or anybody moving along that corridor. You can't try it. But in an environment where there is no control in Africa, because it's one rich man or rich woman is building two-story building, you will have to block the whole road with materials. You need to be begging the person to pass. He will carry equipment and block the whole road. Why? He's constructing within the environment. He's wrong. Some people will be inhaling the chemicals they are using to construct. Some people, houses, clothes will be full of dust from the dust that is being transmitted by people who are constructing his house, because he's constructing his house or her house. Do you get? Now, Not only that, the people operating the equipment, managing the materials, controlling the environment can also be hazard. That means human beings are part of the hazards. It can be your best friend, it can be your mother, it can be your father, it can be anybody. That person can be a hazard. That means human beings are part of the hazards. In the other way around, how can human being be a part of the hazard? You are working with equipment. What is equipment? The ladder. You pull the ladder. You climb the ladder. You now told John, please help me, give me some materials, some of this substance, put it maybe in a rope, and send it across to me. In the process of doing that, he's also trying to answer his phone. His phone just rang. He's trying to answer his phone, not knowing that he needs to pay full attention to the job he's doing with John or with Frank. He's distracted. In the midst of that distraction, that chemical will fall and explode, or the ladder will slip and the man will fall. What is the cause of the accident? Lack of focus. What do you mean by lack of focus? Lack of safety knowledge. What do you mean by lack of safety knowledge? Negligence. In the other way around, what do you mean to that person? That human being is hazardous. That's what it means. So, in the category of hazard, human being forms part of the hazard that can collapse, kill people in an environment or in a work environment, in a workspace where you find yourself. Now, the last one you need to understand in the hierarchy of hazards, before I go back to safety, the definition is what? Systems. What do you mean by system? The procedure used to do the work, control the staff, control the equipment, control the material. The procedure can be hazardous, can be dangerous. Why? The instructions given is not the right instruction. Who can also be a system? The organization, the company who employed you. They can also be dangerous. They can be killing. How? They fail to train you. They fail to give you instruction. They fail to give you self-operating procedures. That's what we call SOP. A professional is also talking. Yeah. They fail to do the needful. In the other way around, you are doing experiment. That is why in the workplace, we have what we call trainees and we have what we call professionals. And it's dangerous. I use the driver to give you an example when we started, if you can remember the story. It's a dangerous act to a trainee to start acting, behaving like a professional. Is deadly. It's a high risk. That is why in every multinational company, they can never confirm you a staff if you have not been 26 months as a trainee staff. Yes, they will be able to know if you can cope or not. Within that period, if you pass, you'll be confirmed as staff. If not, they will sack you off. If you can withstand the pressure or not. If you can understand the system or not. If you can obey or not. Obey the instructions or not. If you are a dangerous hazard or a mild hazard. There are some mistakes you can make, we can take it. But listen, there are mistakes you can make. From that moment, you are sacked. So, I don't know if I'm making sense. If I'm making sense, say I make sense. That is what safety is in an environment, at home, at work, place. When you hear freedom from danger, that is what it means. You don't need to wait for accident to happen to determine who is dangerous, who is hazardous, what is done right, or what is not done right. Your brain is there to do the job. That is why in the developed world, they don't value certificates. Why? They will call you for an interview and give you, and I learned that so much. Even when I was in Nigeria, I deal with the Europeans. So I learned a lot. When I was in Nigeria, I behaved like an European. I don't behave like an African. Even when I'm recruiting admin executives, admin staff, safety have helped me a whole lot. Have saved me a whole lot also. Safety is a benefit. Can you put on the chat box, safety is a benefit? Safety is a personal benefit. It's not just a certificate, it's a benefit. When I employed an admin staff, those days when I'm in Nigeria, what will I do? I don't talk much. I will tell you, you say, I walk there, I walk there, I walk there, I follow this, I do that, I do this, I do that. So, okay, no problem. You write proposal? Yes, sir. You print proposal? Okay. You save your work, classify your work, arrange your work folder by folder? Yes, sir. Okay. You know what is a folder in a system? Yes, sir. Okay. You are ready to start work as soon as possible? Yes, sir. Okay. Even now, if I say start now, you can start? Yes, sir. Okay. I will ask somebody, give me one computer. Close. This is a computer. Open it. On it. Go to documents. Open OSHA membership. Inside OSHA membership, look for a file, data file. Open that folder. Open the document. One happened. He said, sir, this computer is not charged. I said, it's charged. It's charged. Just on it. He said, so where do you on it? I said, you check his laptop, so you should know where to look around, you find where to on it. You know, some laptop you on at the top, you on at beside. Some of them, you need to really be computer tech to know. When you see a laptop, you should know where to on it. So I said, you on it, you just go to the document, navigate yourself to that point and open the document. That is the interview. I don't talk much. And this is a Western world system. That is the only way you'll be able to, get the right team, the right staff, who knows the job, who can deliver without stress. But some of my, they said, I don't know what's the problem. Look at fantastic CV. I told one boss, I said, that CV is copy and paste. He said, what to me? I said, it's copy and paste. That CV is designed. The person who owns that CV doesn't know inside the CV. That is my understanding. When I see any CV, I don't justify any CV to you. It's a copy and paste. You have to define if it's you. Even the name there, I need to be sure if you are the one that wrote the name. Because you need to still for me to be sure. Especially in Africa. That is the situation. Why? Because I understood the environment, so you need to follow the environment according to the environment. That is safety, mental safety. So when you are in the environment, you have your workers, your team, your colleagues. you want to detect who are hazards among them, you need to also ask brilliant questions. I pray the documents, I hope the network allows us to end this soon. But if we are making sense and you are getting these foundations very correctly, can you put on the chat box 222? Let me know that we are together. Can you put on the chat box 222? If we are moving together, okay, fine. Now, in that case, you need to examine your colleagues to know if they understand the safety implications of the work or not. If not, you may have to blame yourself at the time the accident or incident happens. Freedom from danger, freedom from harm, or free from accidents. That is safety. Okay, for you to also get this done as a safety professional, in every work environment, I told you before, safety is not an assumption. And if you listen to my scenarios, I'm not assuming anything.
Honestly.
That is the way you must not to assume anything with anybody you are dealing with. You have to be sure. You have to investigate. You have to trigger your senses and your intelligence to be sure of what you are doing and how you are doing it. That is what I'm talking about. Your brain have to work. In Africa, you see people certificate don't talk. If you have first class in health and safety in certificate, you're on your own. Is it relevant? You have first class even in your field. If you're in Europe, you're on your own. It's just like nobody cares about your first class and your second class. Nobody's interested. Even without your first class in Europe, they will give you technical interview. You have to know if you know what you are doing, not if you pass the exams. Do you know what you are doing? What do you know? Not document, not certificate. So you need to get it right. Safety. Even in the beginning of the earth, when God created Adam and Eve, according to the stories and the history of the world, put into the garden. The garden is a workplace. And he created so many things in that workplace. And he told them this one is hazard. He didn't say they should go and live there and, identify the hazard themselves. Because if that was the case, he shouldn't have punished the occupants. Why did he punish the occupants? He punished the occupants because he told them and they agreed, and he showed them that this is a tree, this is a fruit. You saw it, yes. It's red, yes. It's apple, yes. That is a punishment. Do you get the story now? And that's why he punished them. That is where safety started. That is the beginning of safety to the world. And that is why America have a law. The OSHA America, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, not association, no, not OSHA of this one you are in now. I mean the government of America. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is the agency of the United States, US level, have a law that states if any employer recruit people without showing them the hazard, teaching them the hazard in that workplace, they are liable to fine. What does that law mean? If there is a chemical, the employer did not tell you this is a chemical, and by mistake that chemical burns your hand, by mistake, you sued your employer and you gain benefits. That is what God did. That is what God did. So, in the same order, as a practical safety professional, when you employ as a safety officer, they say control these people. You don't have to just carry them. You do what we call toolbox meeting. What is toolbox meeting? It's brief discussion. Brief what? Discussion. Brief information. In this workplace, there is a hole there. I'm covering it. Nobody should go. Please, in this site, nobody should jump. Why? Because the soil, the ground jump inside the pit. So nobody should jump. Do you hear? Everybody say yes. Okay, fine. Move to the site. You have done your job and you have done it well. But a careless safety officer will just come and said, okay, please, wear your safety helmet, wear your safety shoe. Please, John, wear your safety coats now. Sandra, wear your earmuff. Now, okay, everybody to site. Then people went to site. They are well kitted. They are jumping. They now jump and now jump inside the pot, inside the pit. And the sand now collapses part of them. Everybody shouting, accident, incident happened. Who is the cause of the accident? The safety officer. How? He did not identify that risk, that hazard. He did not brief the workers. There are such hazards existing there. If you have gotten a clear picture of what safety is, can you put on the chat box 111? Thank you. I'm moving to the next agenda. The next agenda, understanding HSE. You can see I have not been reading your manual. The manual is made for you to read, not for me. So my own is to interpret and to guide according to the manual. So if you go through the manual, you understand I have explained so many things from the manual, the workplace and things like that. Yes, I've explained some of these things. But I will give you more scenario as we proceed further. If you look at can somebody see my slide, right? You can see my slide when you go to my slide. Occupational health. Yeah. Talking of occupational health. The occupational health, in most cases, we are talking about illness, sickness, health issues emanating from the exposure to your work. What is occupational? What you do every day. What you are doing every day of your life. Occupation. You are a tailor. You are an engineer. You are a musician. You are that's your occupation. Now, what are the health hazards that connects to that your work? That is what we are talking about. That is what here is talking about. So you must know. You must know those hazards. We have discussed that earlier before now. Now, hazard and risk. We talk of risk also. These are elements I want to give you some scenario also. Risk. Risk is not a hazard. Risk is not a danger. Risk is a brain work. What is risk in safety? The likelihood that something will happen. The probability that accident will occur. Now, making you is a professor or a super being, right? Yeah. Seeing what is about to happen or making you to become like a magician, right? Yes. That is what I can say. When they say you are a safety officer, you are to officiate safety, you are to control safety, you are to control the workforce, you are to control the environment, you are to advise, you are to give instructions. When they say you are a safety supervisor, what do they mean? You are to supervise, you are to supervision. You are not the one doing the job. You are not the one holding tools. But you are the one giving instruction and controlling and giving instruction what may happen based on what your tool is saying. Do you get it now? When they say you are a safety manager, what are we talking about? You are managing the workplace. You are managing the materials, the equipment. You notice that this equipment, vibrating it here is too much. You say move it outside. Go vibrate outside. You notice that John and Frank are doing and Jerry. You said, oh yeah, you move to the other department, you be here. What? Segregating issue that we discussions, they will not forget what they are doing, accident happens. I don't know if I'm making sense. That is the managerial aspect of safety. That is the managerial aspect of safety. Now, going forward, they say, who is at risk? Who is at risk? It depends on what is on ground. Human being can be at risk. The environment can be at risk, depending on the hazards. Maybe, for example, within an oil and gas environment, the issue of spill. When you talk of spill, that is oil spilling on the floor, which can cause slip and fall. Do you get? These are issues. We're also talking about within what I have discussed and between and safety, which have given you scenarios earlier before now. We also about identifying problems. That is what? Identifying the hazards within the work environment. And you know the hazards are in different forms. Chemical forms, gaseous forms, liquid form, gaseous form, vaporous form. Do you get? So these are different forms of these chemicals, of these hazards. And also,
as we are waiting for the doctor to be back, we can use the opportunity and go to Kani Sise place for dinner, because we can see she's taking her dinner. Network is disturbing. Just have a bit patience. Just be patient. He will get back to us. So, Kani Sise, hope you have time to invite all of us for dinner.
So this is an unfortunate thing that we lost the Dr. Engineer Emmanuel Uwalaka with all these names and titles. But meanwhile, Mr. Leon, instead of inviting yourself to dinner, maybe we can look at some of the things that Dr. Emmanuel said, and take that dinner, for example. I can imagine I have seen you outside, Miss Caesar. Yeah. Yes, of course, we need to be patient, but that doesn't mean we cannot learn something meanwhile. So if you go out to eat, are there any things you should watch out for concerning health and safety? Because this is a very important place to have health and safety. So the doctor was talking about hazards and risks, and I don't think he got to the point where he explained it yet, but completely made it clear. A hazard is something, all things, whether it's an action, a person, an item that can hurt you. As you heard Dr. Emmanuel say, if you cannot avoid being confronted with things that can potentially put you in danger. So what a risk is the likelihood that a hazard, all of those hazards separately or combined, that they harm you. So when you go out to eat, there are a lot of things that are hazardous. Maybe the plate is cracked, maybe the food is not cooked up to a point where the bacteria are not out. Maybe it's been standing there for the whole day, which will breed bacteria and will get you food poisoning and so on. So those are things you should consider when you go out to eat. You are washing your hands in water that other people wash their hand in, maybe. So you have to pay attention. There are hazards all around you. So now the doctor is back, so I'm going to leave it up to him if he is ready.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, as just reminded me now, you remember talking about bacteria, talking about germs. Somebody told me that was in a construction site sometime as a civil engineer. We were in a site those days, I just remembered. Because he's hungry, he saw food, no proper washing of hands, he started eating the amala. You know, there is this food they call amala in Nigeria. Is a southwest food, you know. You see people even eat, they will lack of knowledge, lack of education. And that is why Osh Association is trying its best to make sure that, you know, African South Asians within the developing world, they get to understand that life can be cut short, life can be miserable because of lack of this singular negligence. Do you understand? A lot of people have really put themselves into a very hardship, difficult life because of wrong decisions. Because check everything we have been discussing about HSC now. Many of you have begun to understand what health and safety is all about now. You will see that it boils down to decision, not necessarily wearing the helmet and wearing safety shoe and hand gloves. No, decision making. Decision making. So that is what we are talking about here. So I was talking about the symptoms, the effect of all this we are talking about. How does it penetrate through digestion, injections, and things like that? And what are the symptoms? Irritation, toxic, sensation, and the carcinogenic issues and conditions within our bodies. And at that point, they have to start visiting hospitals. They have to start, those that know how to pray have to start praying. You know, I watched a video where fire is burning and some people are praying for fire to quench. I don't understand the chemical connection between the prayer and the fire burning and praying for fire. Yes, God answered by miracles. I believe in that, but some are very foolish acts. Some are just from the pit of lack of knowledge and ignorance. Do you get? So that is just the whole story on that. So we also talk about occupational health hazards. Yes, chemicals such as dust, physicals such as noise. Your neighbor putting up a very noisy generator, you can advise. Do you know what it means for you to hearing that noise for the next 5, 7, 8 years you live with that neighbor? Sometimes they will say it's not your business. That is the environment we are finding ourselves. But you need to try to negotiate in most cases. Maybe send the generators to a far. It happens to me at the time. We all agreed in that compound that, okay, let's, build a small shelter. Everybody send your generator a little bit far away instead of our verandas. Because from the veranda is vibrating, the noise is more closer. So it's a kind of safety also. Do you get? So these are kind of things we need to do to help ourselves in an environment where there is no rules and order, like in Africa. No rules and order. So, but you need to bargain, you need to negotiate, because there is no enforcement, there is no law. So everybody does anything. In the UK, a church cannot beat drums in a house and it disturbs somebody just passing. I didn't say somebody's house, somebody passing, hearing it. It's not doable, whether in Canada, in America, in UK, anywhere. Why? It's noise pollution. That noise must be only for you, not for the third party. Only for you. That is what we are talking about. Because these are problems. These are problems. Now, we also talked about, when we talk about occupational health hazard, we talk about noise and vibration, we have talked about hazardous substances, biological hazards, drugs and alcohol. When you are supposed to rest, you are taking paracetamol. Why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your partner, they broke your heart. Then you are taking paracetamol. You are taking pain relief. For what? The cure is what? Relax your head, relax your mind, put soft music, find some drinks, look for one. If it's in Africa, look for one joint. Go and just get some money, buy some good goat meat and enjoy yourselves. Go and sleep. You cure the disease, you cure the headache. And zero your mind from so much of thinking, and all that. Do you get? You solve the problem. You solve the problem. But when you keep yourself into it, then you create more deteriorating sicknesses that you don't know how it's going to come. More headache, more pain. You do understand? Then we talked about violence at workplace. I have also talked about that. Stress. I have talked about that. Passive smoking. Yes. Passive smoking. I don't smoke. Yes. I don't drink like that. Yes. But sometimes you can get drunk or get smoked by those surrounding you if not controlled. Do you get? So these are issues we need to look into place as safety professionals or within our environment. So if you read your book, you'll be able to understand more better. You'll be able to get it more better. Now, how can work affect your safety? How can work affect that? This is part of things I have said already. I've discussed them, give you scenarios and give you a lot of examples for better understanding for those who are learning safety for the first time. Now, what is the outcome of an accident? It's something we already know. Death, personal injury, long-term health problems, damage to environment. Yes. Okay. So these are outcome, psychological issues, Now, why do accidents occur? Occupational factors. What do you mean by occupational factors? These are the kind of work. For example, I gave you an example of a driver. You have been driving car. They gave you a trailer. They ask you, can you drive trailer? You say yes. You jump into a trailer. You drove 1 week because you drove, no issue. The following week, you have an issue. The brake failed. You don't know how to control it. Why? It's not your field. You have not really mastered that field. It will kill you for free. Environmental factors. Environmental factors can be in any form. Do you get? Example. For example, you are working in a workplace, then you fail to check the utilities within that workplace, you start excavations. You now gambled into cables that can electrocute you. You gambled into cables that can, hit the oil pipeline. These are environmental factors. Do you understand? Environmental factors also involves even where you live. I remember those days I live in Nigeria, in Abuja. I select where I live. There are some areas you see so many of some noisy, rascal human beings surrounding those such estates. There's one estate I wanted to live sometime. I looked at the environment and I asked myself, is this people I'm seeing here? Is there people I've been seeing every morning going to work, coming back from work? I said, no, it doesn't make sense. I don't need to wish that they will vanish tomorrow. I have seen it with my 2 eyes that they have come to stay here, they have come to stay. So it's for me to make the right decision. I can't stay in such environment. I moved. I told the agent, turn over. The agent said, why turning? We have not reached the house now. I said, I don't need to reach the house. What I have seen on the way going to the house is enough. Safety is a benefit. If you say safety is not a benefit, you are not wasting your life. You will, because the life is too short to experiment everything. So knowledge helps you to control. Knowledge puts you in control of your life. Do you get? I told the agent, I said, turn the vehicle. He said, why? We have not reached the house. You have not seen the house. The house is so beautiful. I said, no, I don't need to get to the house. I have seen what ends living in this environment. And that's just it. Do you get? So these are issues. The next one is human factors. Human factors, yes. Characters, behaviors of human beings. Organizational factors, yes. From the organization, the process, the procedure of work. In most cases, you can advise. That is why in every workplace, when I'm working with people, I like interaction. I like discussion. Till tomorrow, I will say, where do you want us to do it right? What do you think we need to do it right? What do you think is your challenges? Communication is key. So you need to communicate. It's only when you communicate, you'll be able to get a solution. And when you get solution, everybody will be able to live safely. If you read more in your manual, you'll be able to understand even more better than these my narrations. Now, what are the main causes of accidents? Main causes of accident. Can you write on your chat box? Let me see. Main causes of accident. You have 1 minute. 40 seconds left. What are the main causes of accidents? Somebody say negligence. Yes. What are the main causes? According to your book, all these people answering your questions, your answers are good. Only one person, Olumide, have gotten it right. Every other person, all your grammar and English is good, but you are missing it. According to the book, he said unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. Yes. Somebody say improper use of machine. They are all good, yes. But the summary, the topic, the clause for it is what? Unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. As a safety professionals, is when you start analyzing unsafe acts, you will start, giving all these questions. As an engineer, I want to recruit, because you are not doing the course to go and be a safety officer. Many of you are doing the course so that you have the knowledge of the hazards involved in the work you are going to do in future. You are a nurse, you are a public nurse, or you are a civil engineer. You want me to recruit you as a site manager or site engineer. Then I'm asking you, what do you think are going to be the causes of accident happening in the work site as a site engineer overseeing the whole site? You not say me improper machine, in this, in that. I know that you have missed the whole game. Do you get? We can't ask you what is the name of the soup. You say pepper. Pepper, the name of the soup? No. You say crayfish. You say meat. These are not the name of the soup. Before they ask you what are the ingredients in the soup, then you mention pepper, you mention meat, you mention fish. That is what you are doing here now. Do you get my point, right? So unsafe acts. What are unsafe acts? Gisting, phone distraction. That is why in the device you can in your hands, on your pocket. Not possible. It's locked. 12 hours, 8 hours in a bus. Unless you are a manager, you are a site, whatever, then you hold your phone, then your decisions or your whatever, you are accountable to it. Unsafe condition. What is unsafe condition? Unsafe conditions are those tools that can cause accident. Those procedures that can cause accident. Maybe you see an AC in an office, dropping water, keep dropping water. The water now trip to the tiles, to the floor. Somebody passing will trip and fall. What is the cause of the accident? The AC. But somebody will say, is the water on the floor? Did the water disappear to the floor? The answer is no. So what is the source? The AC. Simple. So the AC is the condition that have been causing it. The two people are working. Somebody is always talking, gisting. The one talking too much, you remove him from that position. Then they play. The unsafe act will stop. Do you get? So these are the things you need to understand as safety professional as far as health and safety is concerned. When you read more further, you will also understand. I think I've exhausted my time, but I'm already quarter to finish at this point. We're also talking about what are the causes of accident and ill health at work. It's part of what we have discussed earlier. Deaths, injury, disaster, hospital bills, pains. All these things are shared between the worker and the organization. How? The worker will bear the pain, right? The worker will pay for the hospital bill, right? The worker will be the one taking the drugs, right? Now, indirectly, the company also suffers from the accident because the person that injured is one of the best workers. The production rate will drop, new staff will be hired, new trainings will be done, delay in deliveries will be experienced. So, do you see now? So there are direct costs, there are indirect costs. If you read and study more, you will also see the causes of all these accidents. What is the bigger picture? The bigger picture is what? Having an effective health and safety standards, procedures, order, rules, and instructions. SOP, self-operating procedure, for every task, every move, every activity. Develop the instruction, develop the guidelines, and let people be aware of it. Let people be aware, and make sure they read it. Make sure they do what? They read it. Because the reading mentality of Africans is too bad. It's too bad. You will send instruction in WhatsApp, they will not read, they will say, ask you a question. You will explain something, they will buy phone, they will say, read the phone, charge the phone before you use. That is long story. They will use the energy in the battery first, use it first before they will charge. So there are so many lapses in understanding, and that is the starting point of what? Problems, disaster, accident, fatalities, deaths. That's the starting point. So we need to get these things right. The bigger picture is standards, order, and instructions. That brings me to the end of my session. I'm open to questions. If you have studied, you have some questions from the manual, please ask those questions. Areas that you didn't understand through the stories or scenarios or explanations, you have to ask. The next one, very important, even what we call sustainability, what we call quality. You may not find that in your book, but these are the current programs that is in line with health and safety. We talk about sustainability today. The key factor there is safety also. Because when the right things are put in place, when there is a culture in place, there is sustainable. The staff are being sustained. That is why in the developed world, they chat about sustainability. In Africa, can't talk about sustainability because they don't have standard or structure, even development, talk about sustaining anything. So these are the problems. We want the new generation to imbibe these cultures, this character, this mental shift, so that the system, the future industries will now match up with the developed world, with what the world is talking about. Do you understand? That brings me to the end of this session. Thank you, everyone. If you believe and that you have been, imparted with the basic, because you must know what health and safety is. Some people who have some big certificate in health and safety don't know what health and safety is. What is health and safety? What is HSE? They say health, safety, and environment. Can you explain health? Story. Can you explain environment? Story. Can you explain safety? They say it's freedom from hazard. Any explanation? They cannot give you the chemistry analysis, the way you have heard it and understand the root cause of some of all these things. So that is what I have done now. Thank you so much for your listening, and thank you for your follow-up. Over to you, Dr. Leon, for your time. Thank you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Engineer Uwalaka, for this beautiful presentation. We know that the network didn't make it easy for you, but nevertheless, you drive home the point, really important point that they need to know as a basic and in the foundation. We really appreciate, and as you can see, because of the condition, we have gone over time for 12 minutes. Nevertheless, dear participant, should you have some questions, you can jot them down tomorrow before we go into session 2 or course 102. We can have a brief minute to answer your question. Having said this, we are coming gradually to tonight, and we are coming gradually to the end of the session. So thank you all for keeping calm. But I believe you take good note, because as you have seen, he was not focused on your material, but he was adding meaning to your material. So this is an advantage of listening and taking good note. Thank you all, and we don't have much to say. We want to bring tonight's meeting to its end. Thank you, and please try to be on time tomorrow. We're going to have a few time to answer your question if you have. So this is the end. Once again, Dr. Uwalaka, thank you very much. We really appreciate your availability and all your expertise, your knowledge put in the benefit of the student. Thank you all. Now, class, you can unmute yourself. You want to say hi. Those who are taking their dinner, enjoy your meal. Those who are about to do, enjoy your meal also as we see tomorrow. So we can unmute ourselves and say hi as we are hoping to see ourselves tomorrow. Thank you very much. On this note, class is ended. Bye.
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 Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for
Hi. Thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you so much.
See you
Thank
tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
To my queen, thank you. Everybody, thanks.
Good night. Good